President Muhammadu Buhari has commissioned the Dangote fertilizer plant in the Abeokuta area of Lagos. He inaugurated a multi-billion-dollar facility at an event well attended by many political, traditional, and religious leaders, as well as key members of the private sector from various parts of the country. They include the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Kayode Fayemi, as well as members of the forum including Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Lagos, Darius Ishaku, Taraba, and Badaru Abubakar, Jigawa. President Buhari inaugurated the facilities as part of activities lined up for his working visit to Lagos. He also inaugurated the newly built terminal at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, as well as inspected the ongoing construction at the Dangote Refinery and the Lekki Deep Sea Port. The Dangote fertilizer plant is Africa's largest granulated urea fertilizer complex. It occupies 500 hectares of land in the Lekki Free Trade Zone and was built at about $2.5 billion. It is expected to help Nigeria retain $125 million in import substitution and provide $625 million from exports of products from the fertilizer plant. While Nigeria is estimated to need about 5 to 7 million metric tons of fertilizer per annum amid its current level of fertilizer consumption, which is 1.5 million metric tons, the Dangote fertilizer complex was established to produce 3 million metric tons of urea fertilizer per annum in its first phase. A group of indigents of Ogun West who are members of the All Progressives Congress has endorsed Prince Dapo Abiodun to run for second term in office as the governor of the state. The group, known as West to West for Dapo Abiodun, which is from the 5 local governments in Ogun West Senatorial District, also called on one of their sons representing Lagos West at the Senate to come back home to represent them in the 2023 general elections. Elizabeth Eson witnessed the convergence held at the Onimeko Conference Hall in Meko Afo local government area. Her report.
A convergence of members of West to West for DA at Imeko Afo local government in a show of support towards re-election of Prince Dapo Abiodun as the governor of Ogun State in the 2023 general elections. According to the chairman Central Committee of West to West for DA, Dr. Isiah Kunle Salako, the convergence for the endorsement of Prince Dapo Abiodun for second term became pertinent following achievements of his administration in Ogun West in the past 3 years. The group, which comprises members of the All Progressives Congress across the 5 local governments in Ogun West, has been going around the council areas to solicit support for Prince Dapo Abiodun. At Imeko Afo, the convergence, which is a 2-in-1, was for the endorsement of Prince Dapo Abiodun for second term, and also a call on Senator Solomon Olamilekun Adeola, presently representing Lagos West, to come back home to represent Ogun West Senatorial District in the 2023 general elections.
Here to support This is the very first time that I will see a government coming to power and continue the abandoned project of his predecessors. This is the very first time. So anything that we want to do to encourage that kind of a government to continue, I will definitely be part of it.
Leaders of the group and members also took turns out to declare their support for the endorsement and also pledged to put in all efforts towards mobilizing massive turnout at the polls. At the end of the consultative meeting, a former commissioner for housing in Ogun State, Chief Daniel Adejobi, read the communique, which was signed by all the leaders of the group. Elizabeth Tesson, OGTV News.
Both for the exhibitors and for the participants, just come and see what we have on offer for you.
The president of Ogunsiman, Alhaji Wasiu Olaleye, said that a quite number of industries and stakeholders have indicated interest in participating at the trade fair, adding that the authority was working around the clock to ensure that the fair records an unprecedented success.
We are going to have entertainment on ground, we are going to have beauty here, we are going to have many companies. So people should just come. After the close of work in the evening, you can just throw in, get something purchased, and then have a nice time in the premises.
As part of the preparations for the fair, members of Ogunsima had an awareness walk on the streets of Abeokuta. This year's trade fair, which is the 11th edition since its inception, has as its theme harnessing the agricultural value for sustainable industrial and economic development. It is scheduled to hold from Friday 25th of March to Monday 4th April 2022 at the MKO Abiola International Trade Fair Complex, Abeokuta. Sheyi Alao, OGTV News.
The Ogun State Commissioner for Forestry, Honorable Tunji Akiusi, has said that the state government will soon present a draft that will regulate activities and conduct at government forests and reserves to the State House of Assembly for promulgation into law. Honorable Akiusi stated this while briefing newsmen as part of activities marking this year's World Forest Day held at the ministry's headquarters in Abeokuta. He said, though the draft had earlier been forwarded to the House, but had to be withdrawn based on the advice given by the state governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, whom he said detected that there were clauses contained in it, which if implemented might not serve as punitive measures to offenders. He therefore promised that the draft will be re-represented to the State House of Assembly as soon as all necessary amendments had been made for passage into law.
Congratulate us for again seeing another March 21st, which is designated as the Day of the Forest. We want to join all people of the world in commemorating this day, planting a tree and making our people know that tree is life. Indiscriminate cutting or felling of trees would shorten the life of every human. Climate change is real. The ozone layer depletion is real. The earlier we all agree and appreciate the fact that we should not fell trees indiscriminately, the better for us and for our children.
On this year's theme, Forest and Sustainable Production and Consumption, Honorable Akiusi joined members of the public to always keep the year 2022 theme in mind, which is sustenance of livelihood. Also, at the occasion, Special Assistant to the Governor on Forestry, Mr. Tunde Taiwo, craved for proper maintenance of forests in order to prevent erosion, global warming, and other natural disasters. Earlier in his speech, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Mr. Lateef Benson, challenged guests at the ceremony to have the courage to preserve the forest and reserves in view of dangers of ozone layers depletion and other natural disasters. High point of the event was symbolic planting of trees by the Commissioner and other top management staff of the ministry. Just ahead, federal government scraps PCR test for fully vaccinated travelers. Welcome back. Ogun State government is committed to promoting a comprehensive water resources management and conservation as part of the mechanism for managing the humanity's impact on the environment. This was ascertained by the state government's officials and critical stakeholders who attended the event in commemoration of this year's World Water Day, organized by the State Ministry of Environment in collaboration with Nestle Nigeria PLC. Adebola Oshomuji covered the event held at the Obas Complex, Okemoson, Abeokuta. Her report.
As the world adapts to a climate change and rising population, groundwater has been an essential resource in demand. It is on this premise that the Ministry of Environment in Ogun State celebrates this year's World Water Day. While expatiating on the theme, groundwater making the invisible visible, government officials with critical stakeholders stressed the need to tackle the issues of global water scarcity, water pollution, and encouraging citizens to reflect on the value of water.
Access to fresh water, a natural resource, is considered by the United Nations as an essential human right, as it is necessary for human life to thrive. Although 71% of the water surface is covered by water, most of it is not suitable or available for consumption. Human activities, including population and economic growth, and climate variability are rapidly increasing the pressure on groundwater. Serious depletion and pollution problems are reported for many parts of the world.
The present administration handed our able Governor His Excellency Prince Dr. Abeokuta through his relevant agencies is ensuring that we have suitable mechanisms to maintain our ecosystem, as well as sustaining supply of potable water to the citizens.
It was ascertained at the event that the state government is committed to sustainable mechanisms in protecting the ecosystem in the state. Adebola Oshomuji, OGTV News.
Every 22nd day of March every year is set aside as World Water Day to raise public awareness about the significance of fresh water and sustainable management of this significant resource. Bumi Adigun takes a look at the effort of the current Ogun State administration at ensuring there is potable water supply everywhere in the state. His report.
One of the essential needs of life is water. Water is a necessity of life. All living animals and plants cease to exist without it. Hence, the saying, water is life. However, with increasing industrialization, overuse and exploitation of all natural sources, human life is facing some questionable situations, such as acute water shortage. As water is an essential building block of existence, each year, March 22 is celebrated as World Water Day to raise public awareness about the significance of fresh water and sustainable management of this significant resource. Groundwater, making the invisible visible, is the theme of World Water Day 2022. Officially, the idea of World Water Day was a resolution adopted by the UN General Assembly Conference on Environmental and Development in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, in 1992. It was then that the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution stating that every year, March 22, will be marked as World Water Day, starting 1993. The Ogun State government, under the current administration led by Prince Abeokuta, is not leaving any stone unturned in efforts at making potable water available in all parts of the state.
Is that no sanity now?
Yes. Engineer Kunle Otun is a special advisor to the Ogun State Governor on water resources.
Because of decadence in the infrastructures that could be used to supply water. So we came to meet absolutely nothing in terms of readiness and continuity of water supply in Ogun State. Water treatment plant that is in Abeokuta, after producing, could not take the water to homes. Why? Because the distribution channels had been destroyed on account of urban renewal road rehabilitation. So basically, you just discover that all the way from Arakonga, Abeokuta, down to Okimoson, there are so many segments that have been cannibalized.
In Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, laying of pipes is ongoing, and there is assurance this will reach some parts of Ogun East. And according to the special advisor, he said the ongoing project on the hills of Temidire along Abiola Way, Abeokuta, will do the magic.
The water will take flight from Arakonga, and go straight through the Temidire on Abiola Way. We are currently constructing the biggest water reservoir. It's ongoing as we speak. So when it leaves there, it goes straight to Bantoko and into all the nooks and crannies of Bantoko.
In the same vein, the Ogun State Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Program is also raising its game as it has touched over 93 communities in the state.
We do motorized borehole. We do motorized borehole in line with the SDG goals. So that is making sure that the water under the ground is brought out to the surface clean and clear in an hygienic form for the benefit of the masses.
So we've implemented in about 73 locations through or via construction of solar power boreholes for all the rural dwellers. And we have not stopped there. Yes, in this year, 2022 budget, of course, we made adequate provisions to cover more LGA.
The World Water Day is promoted globally by UN agencies to stimulate people across the world by organizing promotional activities to encourage the people, make them address the critical water issues, and also coordinate with international activities. Bumi Adigun, OGTV News.
Still on World Water Day, the African Ministers' Council on Water, AMCO, will celebrate its 20th anniversary during the 9th World Water Forum in Senegal. The Council will use the occasion to launch activities to formulate the post-2025 Africa Water Vision towards a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. This is the second time in the 25-year history of the World Water Forum that the event is being held in Africa. As part of the forum program, the Republic of Senegal will also be convening a session of the heads of state and government to discuss water and sanitation issues. The events will include dialogue and discussion sessions that collectively contribute to strengthening and ensuring the sustainability of AMCO. The commemorations will also launch activities to formulate the post-2025 Africa Water Vision towards a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. The Ogun State government has announced it is accepting proposals from eligible public and private providers to participate in its 2022 programs through the newly established Ogun State Skills Fund, OFG. A statement by the State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abeokuta, says the Challenge Fund for the training will be competitively accessible to all public, private training institutions, community-based and non-formal training providers operating in the state with defined eligible criteria. The statement adds that proposals will be accepted for Skills for Employment and Self-Employment 2022, Functional Literacy Skills 2022 and Entrepreneurship Skill 2022 programs. It urges interested organizations and individuals to visit the office of Ogun State Skills Fund at the Ogun Tech Hub, Kobakwe Road, Abeokuta, or the Ogun State website, with proposal submission deadline fixed for 8 April 2022. The meeting of the Ogun State Council of Obas, earlier scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, 23rd of March 2022, has been postponed till further notice. A statement by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs in the state, Mr. Kolawole Fagbon, indicates that a new date for the meeting will be announced in due course. The statement also regrets any inconvenience this postponement might have caused. About 300 women from Ijebu Federal Constituency Central have benefited from the empowerment program organized by Adeola Aziz Community Care Foundation. Our reporter, Margaret Okunlola, reports that the convener, Honorable Adeola Aziz, said the initiative was born out of the passion to give back to the society. Her report.
An empowerment program targeted at uplifting widows, elderly and disabled in Ijebu Central Federal Constituency who were drawn from Odogbolu, Ijebu Ode and Ijebu Northeast local government areas in celebration of the International Women's Day. With the theme, Awa Obinrin Day, food items and cash gifts were given to about 300 women who have been identified to really need the assistance, with a view to making life comfortable for them. Considering the socio-economic impact of the initiative on all present, beneficiaries could not but be grateful.
She has impressed us, and we wish other women to try and emulate in order to help other women.
Honorable Adeola Aziz, she has done so well for empowering these women today.
God will continue to protect her, to provide for her family.
Dignitaries and Ogun State government functionaries who graced the occasion called on stakeholders to emulate such an act while sensitizing women to be a support system for their counterparts in all sectors.
When you empower just one female, you've empowered the whole house. So empowering females today, it goes a long way in shaping and building our society. If we have more females being empowered, we're going to have a better society.
We should continue trying to break down the barriers. We should try. If the door is locked, we should keep on knocking, and we will break down the barriers.
Appreciative of the success of the day, the convener, Honorable Adeola Aziz, reviewed the indispensable role of women in the society, also noting she is ready to give back to the society through the initiative.
A burning desire to give back to my community, a burning desire to serve my community and to serve women, children, youth, and the entire community of my constituency.
Poem recitation and cultural display added glamour to the event. Margaret Mulola, OGTV News.
The federal government has announced a review of the international travel protocols for all categories of travelers. Chairman of the Presidential Steering Committee, PSC, on COVID-19 and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, disclosed this at a news briefing in Abuja. According to him, the PSC has reviewed the situations around the world and applies such to the situation in Nigeria and have revised the international travel protocols, which should come into effect on April 4, 2022. The review protocols provide that inbound, fully vaccinated passengers arriving in Nigeria will no longer be required to take a pre-departure PCR COVID-19 test. And as for on arrival for fully vaccinated passengers, a sample will be taken at the airport for rapid antigen test by the NCDC within the arrival hall of the airport. Passengers who are unvaccinated or partially vaccinated shall take a COVID-19 PCR test 48 hours before departure or do a day 2 and day 7 test on arrival. Such passengers will be expected to pay for their PCR test through the travel platform. Our Federal High Court, Abuja, will on Friday deliver judgment in a suit filed by the People's Democratic Party against Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River. The PDP, through its counsel, Emmanuel Okala-San, had filed the suit marked PHC/ABJ/CS/975/2021 before Justice Taiwo to seek an order sacking the governor and his deputy over their defection to the All Progressive Congress, among others. Justice Taiwo on Monday ordered 2 House of Representatives members representing Cross River and 18 lawmakers from the state's House of Assembly to vacate their seats over their defection to APC. The judge gave the order following a suit by the PDP to challenge the 20 lawmakers' defection to APC alongside the governor on May 20, 2021. Justice Taiwo, in the judgment, dismissed the defense argument that the PDP, which is the plaintiff, had no local standing to institute the case. Armed policemen on Tuesday took over the Cross River State House of Assembly. The policemen drawn from the anti-kidnapping squad and regular policemen were also seen around the routes leading to the House of Assembly. Movement into the Assembly complex on Diamond Hill was restricted. Their presence followed the High Court ruling on Monday sacking 20 lawmakers in the state for defecting from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress, APC. Meanwhile, the 20 lawmakers of the Cross River State House of Assembly sacked by the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday have appealed against the judgment declaring their seats vacant. They equally filed an application at the court for an order to stay execution of the judgment. They jointly filed the application for stay of execution along with 2 members of the House of Representatives from the state who were also sacked by the court on Monday. The Federal High Court judge in Abuja, Taiwo, had ruled on Monday that the 20 lawmakers, along with the 2 House of Representative members were deemed to have lost their seats following their defection from the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Last year, the judge delivered the judgment on a suit filed by the PDP on whose platform the legislators were elected in 2019 before defecting to the APC in 2021. Angered by the gale of defection, the PDP had instituted a suit in a move to reclaim what it considered to be its mandate taken to a rival party by the defecting legislators. Officers and men of the Nigerian police had been admonished to always exhibit people-friendly disposition and observe the law with respect for the right of the citizens they are to protect. Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Southwest Geopolitical Zone, Johnson Babatunde Kokumo, gave the admonition during his one-day working visit to the Ogun State Police Command. Benga Adekoya was at the first headquarters in Iliweran, Abeokuta, and his report is presented in this package.
A walking visit it was for the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of Southwest Geopolitical Zone, Johnson Babatunde Kokumo, who also doubles as the DIG in charge of research and planning for the Nigerian Police, to the Ogun State Police Headquarters, Iliweran, Abeokuta. 473 officers and men of the Nigeria Police Ogun State Command were on the ground to receive the august visitor who is visiting the Gateway State for the second time this year. Ogun State Commissioner of Police Larry Bankole, in his welcome address, pledged the command's 100% loyalty to the Nigeria Police, saying there is no plan to embark on strike action.
We will continue to be dedicated to our duty. We will continue to be loyal to the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Nigeria Police Force, and we will continue to discharge our duties professionally and to the best of our ability.
Speaking on the purpose of the visit, DIG Johnson Babatunde Kokumo charged officers and men of the Nigerian Police to be law-abiding citizens and respect the rights of the citizen they are protecting.
We want to see a Nigerian police force that is people's friendly. We want to see a Nigerian police force that is professional. We want to see a Nigerian police force with very high respect for the rights of the citizens. It is only when this is done that the members of the public will really see us as truly their friends.
The visit ended with a closed-door operational meeting with the officers and men of the command.
The case of the 3 boys accused to have killed Sofiat Kende, a 20-year-old girl, along Okearegba in Abeokuta
program seeking to raise 75 billion naira, which gathered a total subscription book of 231.02 billion naira across 97 bids, with a marginal rate of 10.1500%. Compared to the bond issued in the previous month, the marginal rate for 12.5% FGN February 2026 dropped from 10.95% recorded in February 2022 to 10.15% in the review month. The federal government has incurred 950 billion naira new domestic borrowing between January 2022 and March 11, 2022. The Debt Management Office has revealed the fresh borrowing was disclosed on March 17 in the presentation of the public debt data as of December 31, 2021 by the Director General of the DMO, Patience Onia. According to the document, the federal government still plans to borrow an additional 1.6 trillion naira, while the 2022 debt target for domestic borrowing is 2.57 trillion naira. There is also a plan to borrow 2.57 trillion naira from foreign creditors, while 1.16 trillion naira is expected from multilateral, bilateral drawdowns. In total, the federal government plans to add 6.3 trillion naira new debt to the current debt stock, which would push the country's total debt stock to 45.86 trillion naira by December 2022. The House of Representatives on Tuesday urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to reinforce the use of coins as a legal tender and ensure that banks comply with the use of coins to the fullest. This is sequel to the adoption of a motion moved by Muda Umar from Bauchi at plenary. Moving the motion, Umar noted that on February 28, 2007, as part of the economic reforms under the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, 50 naira, 20 naira, 10 naira, and 5 naira banknotes were reissued with new designs, as well as the coining of 1 naira and 50 kobo, while a new 2 naira coin was introduced. The House, while adopting the motion, mandated a committee on banking and currency to ensure compliance. Nigeria is currently holding 283 million naira worth of foreign airlines funds in the country. The funds are proceeds from sales of foreign airlines tickets, among others, that are trapped in Nigeria. This was disclosed by the Minister of Aviation, Adis Sirika, during the commissioning of the new international terminal of the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Lagos, on Tuesday. According to him, the sector needs the support of the Central Bank of Nigeria through the directives of President Muhammadu Buhari to aid access of both local and foreign airlines to foreign exchange. He said the aviation business suffers from issues of foreign exchange by local and foreign airlines and their inability to repatriate blocked funds. That's the business news. I hand you back to Yabo for the rest of the news.